I think it's safe to say that we have seen a popular trend among most of the topics we have learned. That trend is the ability to nest itself inside of another type of itself. We can nest if statements, methods, and now we're going to learn how to nest for loops. We're going to put a for loop inside of another for loop. And I'm going to show you the code first and then explain how it works. So in this case, let's create a for loop. Let's say that I is 0, I is less than 10, and that'll be the first for loop. Now inside of this for loop, let's create another for loop. And instead of using I, because we already have an I, let's use j as the looping variable. Set it to 0, I is less than 10 as well. And we have a for loop inside of a for loop. Inside of the inside for loop, let's have a print line method, and we're going to print out the value of j. So here is the code for this nested for loop. Before you continue on with the rest of this video, I want you to pause and to think to yourself really hard what the output to the console would be when I run this program. Just think real quick. Let's work from the outside in. The first for loop we encounter has a declared variable I and has a value of 0. It then checks if I is less than or equal to 10, and after executing, it'll increment I by 1. Now the question arises, what does this for loop execute during each of its iterations? Well, it performs another for loop. This for loop declares a variable j with a value of 0. It then checks if j is less than or equal to 10. It then executes the code inside of that for loop, which is printing out j to the console. It will then increment j by 1. A very important aspect I want you to know is that the outside loop has to wait until the inside loop is completely done iterating before it can continue. So j will be incremented and printed all the way until 10. When that happens, this for loop is finished, so the outside for loop gets to continue. So I goes from 0 to 1, and the whole process is repeated again. And if we run this program, this is what we get. 0 to 9, printed 10 times.